Samantha. I have my little boy Wesley John here with me today. I'm a mom of 4, and in my last video I shared how I finally overcame the fear of giving birth. So today I want to go into a little bit more detail on home birth, and if you're just getting started or you're interested in having a home birth for the first time, I think I have some tips that might be helpful that I would have liked to know when I was looking into home birth myself. So I have had 2 home births, one in the state of Washington and one in the state of Tennessee. The thing that you want to do is find a midwife. Now, even though my births were in 2 different states, there was a lot of similarities with the midwiferys. So what I did was I just went on Google and typed in home birth midwife near me, because there's going to be midwives who work in OBGYN offices or hospitals, and they don't necessarily do home births. So you're going to want to find a private practicing midwife in your area. So once you find one that you like, usually there's some type of free consultation or a first consultation appointment, and then you can just, as long as you both feel like there's a good fit, you can start having your regular prenatal care, which is really similar to just going to a regular OBGYN. They just do all the basic prenatal visits. One thing I didn't know when I had first started looking into home birth is whether or not they were going to accept my insurance. So the first time, thankfully, my insurance was accepted, and the only thing that I had to pay out of pocket for was my home birth kit and the birth pool rental. So that was really awesome. Now, unfortunately, my second home birth in Tennessee, my insurance was not accepted, so they were the only midwifery in my area. So I had to bite the bullet and pay full price out of pocket as a self-pay client, and that cost me around $5,000. It was a flat rate. It covered all of my prenatal visits, the home birth, and then some of the newborn care for your first and second, or just the first home visit, and then the 6-week postpartum. So just if you were wondering like how much a home birth can run you if you're paying out of pocket, that was just my experience of how much it cost me. If I'm not sure, if that ranges based on where you live too much, or if other people have had similar experiences with that. So like I said, prenatal care is all the same as if you're going to a regular OBGYN for your visits, but around 36 weeks of pregnancy, you're going to have a home visit where the midwives will come over, sit down, and talk to you. They want to know the floor plan of your home, where you plan to give birth to the baby, if that works for them. Like, I originally, in our first home in Washington, I wanted to give birth downstairs, and the midwife didn't think it was the best idea, because then I would have had to immediately walk upstairs to the shower into my bedroom, which isn't ideal when you've just given birth. So we decided to put the birthing pool in my bedroom instead, and that ended up working out fine. They're going to make sure that if you're using a pool, that you have the right connections for the hose to connect to your sink or bathtub or wherever you're going to be connecting it to. If you did have to go to the hospital or had to be transferred. Common misconception that home births are not safe, and some might even argue that they're more safe than a hospital birth, just because for a lot of the problems that could go wrong during the birth, the midwives are completely prepared for that. They have emergency equipment that they bring, and then if anything happens that's out of their hands that they can't help with, then they can get you to the hospital very quickly, and they do have backup plans for that. But they're not going to medically intervene unless they absolutely have to. So whereas if you're having a hospital birth, sometimes medical intervention is the first thing that they do, which isn't always the best option. So some may argue that it's even safer than a hospital birth, but a midwife told me that I had a less than 3% chance of anything going wrong during my home birth because I had already previously given birth. Usually it's not a big concern, but it does happen sometimes, so it's good to know that your midwives are prepared in case of an emergency. Both of my midwives had already their own birthing kit set up, so you might not want to buy anything in advance until you know for sure what your midwives provide, or if they have a birthing kit that they definitely want you to have, because that was the case for me. They had all of the supplies and tools that they needed me to have, and they wanted me to purchase that through a website that they sent, and so that was already prepared. And then they also had the birthing pool rental, so I think I paid around $100 both times for the pool rental, and that's typically they will come bring it at that 36-week appointment. I'll leave it with you after that, so that when you go into labor and they show up, you can already have your birth pool set up and ready. And you can always blow it up and, you know, map out the room however you want to do it beforehand, just so you have a better idea of how birth is gonna go. But it's pretty simple, nothing too crazy. I think that with home birth, one thing that you might not expect, I mean, I at least didn't expect this. I guess it makes sense now, but I just had never had a home birth before. So with the midwifery care and your prenatal visits, they are truly only concerned with the health of the mother and health of the baby. So they are not a doula, they are not your birth partner, they are your midwife, and they are there to make sure that the baby and mother are safe for labor and delivery, and that's pretty much it. During labor, they typically give you lots of space. They don't check you unless you ask to be checked. They don't really talk to you unless you ask them a direct question. Obviously, they're there monitoring you. They're gonna come check on you and check the baby's heart rate every so often, but for the most part, they give you your space and they let you and your birth partner do what you need to do. I did ask my midwife about this, and she said that they tend to give you your space because a mother in labor does not like to feel like she is being watched. Makes sense to me. I think that when you're in such a vulnerable position, it does feel a lot more comfortable when people give you your space and just let you do what you want to do. And that's the beauty of home birth. So if you feel like you're gonna need extra support, that would be when you start looking into getting a doula. I have never gotten a doula. I have the personality type that I just want to be with my closest to, so just my husband and my kids being at the home birth was enough for me. Now this second time I had a 2-year-old, so I was a little worried about how he was going to be for the birth and if my husband was going to be able to juggle taking care of my 2-year-old at the same time that I'm giving birth. So that's when I learned that about a sibling doula, and I don't know if they have these everywhere, but there was a doula that I found who specialized in being a sibling doula, which means that she came to the house just to help with all of the kids, but she was also a certified doula. So if my husband needed to switch with her at any point, she could come be with me. For the most part, she just stayed with the children. She played with them. She took them into the backyard. She had toys with her, and she made lunch. Anything you need them to do during the birth, they will do for you. And I think that they can stay up to like 20 hours. That cost us around $500, and that was just, again, a flat rate. You have one meeting with her before so she can meet the kids, and then when I was in labor, at the same time that I called my midwives, we sent her a text and she was here within the hour. So that ended up actually really working out for us, and I was happy that we did that, even though it was a bit pricey. I figured, I mean, I'm already spending $5,000 for the home birth, so I might as well just add the $500 in, just the peace of mind, because I was really worried that my 2-year-old wasn't going to be able to handle, you know, mommy being in labor and not really understanding what was going on. Also, another good thing to know is if you have children there that are going to be there during the birth, then you may want to have an extra person other than your birth partner there with the kids, just in case that there is an emergency. You're going out in an ambulance, or, you know, your midwife thinks that it's a good idea for your husband to drive you to the hospital for whatever reason. It's a good idea to have someone there so that they can stay with the other kids while you leave. Not everyone does this, and it can still work out that way, but it's just that peace of mind knowing that if something does go wrong, you have someone there with you. Now, your midwives are going to give you a kit, and some of that will have like Postpartum Essentials. The only thing that I would say that wasn't in my birth kit that I felt was absolutely necessary for postpartum was After Birth Ease. They are drops that I got on Amazon, a homeopathic blend that you just drop some into your water and it helps with the after pains of labor. Typically with each child, your pains are more intense. This last time with my fourth baby, it almost felt, I could say, comparatively worse than labor contractions. And you know, you just gave birth. Typically the contractions come on when you're breastfeeding because that's what triggers your uterus to go back to its normal size. So you're trying to breastfeed your baby and you're having labor pains is basically what it felt like to me, and that was really tough. So homeopathic drops are really good, or a hot water bottle can help, even extra strength Tylenol. I was taking that as well. And whatever, you know yourself the best, so whatever you feel like is going to bring you comfort during that postpartum time, keep that in mind, you know. So thank you for listening. If you like this video, I plan on putting out more content like this every week. So if you'd like to subscribe to come along with me on this new YouTube journey that I have, I would really appreciate it. Thanks again. Bye. One more thing I wanted to add in, and that's after your birth, your midwife team is typically going to still be at your house hanging out for a couple hours. They help disinflate the pool, drain it, clean everything up. They'll even usually do a load of laundry with anything that got dirty during the birth. And they're going to help you shower, clean up, get comfy in pajamas and all that good stuff. And they'll make sure that your vitals are stable and that everyone is happy and healthy before they leave your house. If you had a home birth of your own and there's anything that I forgot or left out, put it in the comments down below.